Welcome back to another weekly analysis. It is week 4, March 2026, and I want to start off talking about one trade setup that nearly played out. I had 4 pairs I was looking at last week, and yeah, it was a very quiet week. Second week, no trade for me, but I want to just show you my thought process for this. And this was actually my favorite pair for last week. And yeah, I just want to just briefly go through this before I go into this week's weekly analysis. Now, if you watched my previous video, and you could see that for British pound, I wanted to break structure up above the earlier previous Sunday open. Now, actually, I need to go back to daily time frame for a second, and I want to mark out 2 key levels here. Now, first one here is we have daily supply up here, and this has already, you've seen a rejection already before, so this is a key level of interest for me. And you can see this daily demand that was created on Thursday. Now, what I wanted the price to do is to come back down, see it close above that earlier previous Sunday open, and preferably with strong volume, and I was looking for a buy. Now this is on Friday. Now price did come down. Oh, I need to mark out one more thing actually as well. Just want to show you guys this. You can see this rejection right here, earlier previous Sunday open. And yeah, as I've explained in other videos, you can just see this over and over and over again. And you can see the daily candle could not close above it. What I liked about this on Friday as well, actually, before we went down, we did make new high, just barely, but we did make new high. So I did like that, and I had all my confluences, and I'm just going to go in here. You can see I need to draw out a fixed level here as well. You can see this consolidation around the earlier previous Sunday open and in daily demand. So my fixed POC, this is a key level for me. Now you can see what happens. Price, and this is on Friday. You can see price came down, and now what I was looking for, and this was a couple of hours into New York, so I was like, I knew the chances of trading were very, very slim, but the first rejection right here, and I was looking for a close above the earlier previous Sunday open, and if I seen follow through, yeah, I would have been interested in going into this, and yeah, it would have been just a simple 2-to-1. And you can see stop loss always behind or below the rejection, whichever was the lowest rejection. That was my setup, but price never went down, and yeah, you can see what happened here, and that was it. Price just closed right at the earlier previous Sunday open, which was my key level of interest, but no trade. And it's okay, I would prefer no trade than going into a trade that I didn't have planned out and losing it. So just talk briefly about this, because any pairs that I talked about in depth last week, I don't want to go into in depth this week because it would just take too long. I have a lot of things I want to cover today. Now, for next week, I am still looking for a trade. Now, you can see we have the daily demand up here. Now, yes, we have this earlier previous Sunday open, but I would be willing, same setup as last week, if we see price go up here a bit, come back down, and I want to see this daily demand getting tested again. And yeah, that is what I would be looking for, continuation up again. Or price might just go up on Monday, and we might just consolidate, and in that in that case, from this level, because we've already broken above this structure, so I'm more interested in getting involved with trades up until that daily supply. So during the week, if I see any CME or CERC patterns forming, I would be looking for a trade setup from this daily demand to this daily supply. This is a very good area that I'm looking at, and I will go through the COT data for each pair in this, but I am extremely bullish for GBP and Canadian dollar. While commercials have closed a lot of short positions and open interest is down, I'm still leaning bearish for Canadian dollar. And yeah, just from COT standpoint, yeah, British pound looks extremely strong. So that is my thoughts for GBP and CAD. And if you want to see my higher time analysis for this, check out my last video, weekly analysis, week 3, and go to 23 minutes. That's where I talk in depth about British pound, Canadian dollar, and yeah, I just don't want to go through every one of them again. So that is my thoughts for this pair. And next I'm going to go into COT data. Now you can see here, Australian dollar, we are still increasing shorts. Look at this. Like now, okay, they close a lot of short positions, but just net positions are extremely bearish. Huge decrease in open interest as well for all of the Forex pairs, which I'll talk about soon. As I said, this has been on my watch list for a lot of, yeah, all this year really, but I haven't traded it too much because the technicals just haven't aligned. But I'm still extremely bearish for Australian dollar. And I want to talk not about Japanese yen, I want to talk about New Zealand dollar. Now, you can see here now, while we did, yes, we did close a lot of, short positions and net position. We're not at bearish or bullish extreme anymore. So we're not bearish yet, and you can see retail are still bearish. So that's always nice to see. Huge decrease in open interest as well. Now, I am including one trade for New Zealand dollar this week against Australian dollar, and I will explain why. I just absolutely love this chart setup, and I will start here. You can see monthly supply. Now you can see here prices just close below it. So that is one key level of interest. And one more thing, and if you watched my video last week about New Zealand dollar, euro, this is very similar. We just haven't seen a clear rejection yet. Now look at Australian dollar. The Australian dollar on the monthly time frame has been heavily overvalued against US dollar. This has been going on for months, and while the New Zealand dollar has been neutral. Now, when you see this, and you can see the rejection from monthly supply, that is my first confluence, along with Australian dollar just being extremely bearish. The commercials are extremely bearish. Now, if I go into weekly time frame, now we cannot deny as well, look at this break above this structure. I mean, we are clearly in bullish, like a uptrend, clear uptrend, and you can see here we have this. We finished, we closed bearish after, what was it, 6 weeks of bullish. Now granted, we did make a new high before price came down. Now I want to look at, this is a key level weekly demand right here now, and I want to go into daily time frame. Now daily time frame, this gets very interesting as well. Now this is a strong daily demand right here. You see we're consolidating for a few days, and yeah, just that big initial push up. So that is, we have daily demand. Now one other thing I want to mark out here as well is look at the daily candles for 6 days. 6 days, this was daily support and resistance. Now I have this marked out here, so you can see this. We closed just below this on Friday. Now if you go into 4-hour time frame, you can see this. And what I liked here, this was a 4-hour demand. Price went up, and you can see this 4-hour demand got taken out, and you can see this 4-hour supply has been formed. Granted, we haven't had a huge rejection yet, but this is a key level, especially when you align it with daily support and resistance. So what I am looking for next week is, preferably I would like price to maybe come down here first, come back up. If we see clear, now when I say clear, a clear rejection, close below these previous candles, and yeah, I'd be willing to take it down. Now if that doesn't happen, if price, let's just say price comes down here first and we see consolidation, I would be willing to look for any CME or CERC patterns that come all the way down to this daily demand. This is a great zone right here. You can see how overstretched we are. We have this fixed range here as well. So as long as supply doesn't get taken out and we don't close above daily support and resistance, I am bearish bias, and I will be looking for setups for Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So yeah, there could be really good opportunities for this for next week. Let's see how price plays out. So that is about Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. Now next, I'm just going to show from last week. I took this off my watch list. I'm just going to monitor it. Now this is Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Now this is a setup I had last week, 4-hour demand, and yeah, you can see price went up. We made new highs, and yeah, we just closed just above Sunday open. So yeah, it just doesn't look good to me. I will continue to monitor it, and if price does come down and we see demand get taken out, I will revisit it. And if you want to see the higher time frame analysis, check out my last video, and I talked about this at 10 minutes 29 seconds, and yeah, that was the first video I talked about. So if you want to just look at Australian dollar, Swiss franc, go to 10 minutes 29 seconds of my last weekly analysis, week 3. Now the next one, so that's the only thing I've swapped out. I've swapped out Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. That's in my watch list. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, I'm just monitoring. Now next one I'm going to talk about is British pound and Australian dollar. Now there was no setup. You can see here, and yeah, same thing again, guys. GBP, Australian dollar, I talked about this 17 minutes 45 seconds in my last video, if you want a higher time analysis for this. And I actually forgot to put down about this weekly demand. I'm just going to go in here actually, because I didn't actually talk about this last time. Now you can see this, look at this weekly demand, and you can see 2 rejections already. And what I really like about this is we had this initial rejection 2 weeks ago. This week it was a cleaner rejection, and we made, and this is key, we made higher lows and prices coming up. And I said last week this 3-month support and resistance was a key level, and yeah, while it acted like resistance most of the week, price did close above it. And I have the exact same setup as last week. I want, except for I want price to break above the previous, like the earlier previous week's highs. That is vital. So we need to close above here. We close, or we go up above here. You see a retracement back. Boom. That's the money right there. So that's what I would be looking for. Now, if price doesn't close, if price doesn't retrace back, if price starts consolidating, okay, I will look. I will be looking for setups. I need price to show me first. I need to break this structure. Then I will be confident to look for setups. So that is British pound and Australian dollar. Now, I should have actually talked about. We already talked about Australian dollar, British pound. You can see here. Now, why we did close some position, like open interest is just down so much in all the forex pairs. So yes, retail are more bearish. Love to see that, and yeah, commercial are still heavily bullish. And yeah, I'm extremely bullish for British pound for next week. And what I love about this too, you see commercials, they have this weekly demand, and you can see smart money, they have their orders here. And when smart money, when they start buying in their contracts, they can't put all their contracts in one go. So okay, so they start buying here, and price goes up, and they have more contracts left when price comes back down again. Now, if we just see a break of structure up here, yeah, I'm just I'll be more confident to look for setups then. Preferably, I want price break up above previous week, retracement back, fixed value area high, look for continuation. But if not, this area here, I will look for CME or CERC patterns. Let's see how price plays out next week on Monday. So that is GBP Australian dollar, and the last one I'm going, and that's on my watch list, is Canadian dollar and Swiss franc. Now I want to talk briefly about the COT data for this. Now we have Canadian dollar. Okay, now Canadian dollar, yes, we were at bearish extreme and we closed so much, so we're still bearish, but we're not at extremes anymore. And with the rest of forex pairs, huge decrease in open interest. Now, I am still bearish bias for Canadian dollar. It's not as much as Australian dollar from a COT standpoint, but it has not been looking that strong, and I do see some opportunities next week, but price has to show me first. Now, same with everything. Yeah, closed a lot of long positions, and yeah, we are still bullish, obviously, but we have retail still bearish, so it's not the strongest. We're not extremes, so I just want price to show me next week, and for that reason, this is the same setup as last week. Now, you can see here this 4-hour demand. We had this consolidation. Price went up initially, and last week we had another rejection. Price went up. Now, what I find very interesting, price come down again, and yeah, we haven't had a rejection yet, and price is just like hovering above this demand zone. So it's the exact same setup as last week. I want to see price break this demand, retracement back to fixed value area low, and yeah, look for continuation to this daily demand. But this zone here, if we break below, and let's just say there isn't a retracement, this zone right here, this is where I would be looking for CME or CERC patterns. So that is my 4 picks for next week on cross pairs. And if you want to see the full higher time analysis for this, for Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, go to my previous video, 14 minutes. And at 14 minutes mark exactly, I start talking about Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. And they are my 4 cross pairs. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the dollar. Now the dollar is extremely interesting as well this week, and I want to go into this in depth because I know a lot of you G's trade the dollar, and I like to trade the dollar as well when I get clear opportunities. Now at first glance you can see, wow, okay, commercials after like being bullish and just like all they added like 13,000, like so nearly 10,000 extra short contracts added, and you see retail at bullish extreme, and okay, you also see large speculators, huge increase as well with their long positions. Now at first glance you look at this and you're just thinking, okay, I mean there's definitely bearish opportunities, and there's technicals for that as well, and I want to show you. I have a lot I want to talk to you guys about with this. Now, first off, yeah, we're just going to go in here first. Now, what I want to show you guys is just the technicals for the dollar. Now, we have this weekly supply. Now, we have closed just below it. We haven't seen a clear rejection from this. And we have this, you can see daily time frame, and this is actually much cleaner because you can just see the clear rejection from it. And yeah, that is daily supply, while we have this daily demand down here. Now you can see price, like the dollar has been extremely strong with everything going on, and you can see this rejection from daily supply and closing outside weekly supply. And I add on one more thing as well, which I found very interesting. If you were on the dollar, and if you look at the dollar against treasury bonds, and you can see this, and it goes in normalize window and 50. You can see this for the daily time frame. When price was overvalued, you can see these clear rejections right here. So we're not overvalued anymore, but I just want to show you, you can see these rejections when we were overvalued and then we came down. And you can also see this on the weekly time frame. You can see this here, weekly, we are still heavily overvalued against the bonds. Now this is not for a weekly time frame. I mean, yeah, overvalued here didn't mean anything. Here, yeah, you can see this was very clear to the downside. Here, clear to the downside, and this time, no. So it's just an extra confluence. You don't use this just by itself. But looking at the technicals and the valuation, you would think, okay, there is great short opportunities for the dollar. But if you look at this one thing, you can see open interest. Open interest has increased, and it's increased for the last few weeks. Now that by itself doesn't mean too much, but when you consider that every single forex pair has dropped significantly in open interest while the dollar has increased, I can't look for short opportunities because of that. Because yesterday I just went down rabbit holes looking at the historical data, and yeah, a lot of times it didn't matter about commercials being at extremes or bearish extremes. When you see forex pairs dropping significantly with open interest, and you can see the huge increase for the dollar, that means that people are taking money out of currencies and they're putting it in the dollar. So for that shows continuation to the upside. So I have these conflicting scenarios because of that with the COT data. So for that reason, I'm not looking for trading any trade setups next week with the dollar. But I know a lot of you guys do like to trade the dollar, so I am just going to show you briefly, if I was trading the dollar, what I would be looking for before looking for any setups. Now, on the 4 hour time frame, you can see this daily demand, and you can see we have just closed below weekly supply and rejection from daily supply. Now I just want to go into, I'm going to the previous week, look at the previous week here, and I'm going to go into the earlier previous week. Now I want to mark out these because this is where the most volume has been traded. Now you can see here, this was the previous week value area low. Now where are we here? Yeah, and I want to mark out the earlier previous week POC. So if I was looking, which I'm not, but if I was looking for setups for the dollar, what I would want to happen is price break below the previous week's lows, come back up, see a rejection from earlier previous week POC or previous week value area low, and yeah, to the downside. Now there's also a coin flip to this. If we have this previous week value area high, now if I had to, if I would say which way I'm leaning, I would be leaning more bearish. But yeah, it's like a coin flip for me. So I just, if I feel like it's coin flip, it's just gambling. So I just don't want to trade it. Now we can see here the previous week value area high, and this is more dangerous in my opinion because you're going into supply again. But if you see a break above and we're in supply, and you see price come back down here, rejection from previous week value area high, and it's clear rejection, yeah, there could be some long setups for the dollar. So that is my scenarios for the dollar for next week. As I said, I'm just going to look at it. I do think there are some great opportunities in the coming weeks. Like for the dollar right now, with the COT data, just think about it like we're at a house party, and you know the house party has to end sometime, but you still see people going into the house. Now if you see people still going into the house, the party's not over yet. So next week, if I see open interest dropping significantly, yeah, I will be looking for more setups then. And just want to show you guys one thing as well. This is okay, right? The dollar and the bonds yields, and I just want you to show you this because it can really help in your decision making for the dollar. Is you can see the positive correlation that they have with each other. So if I'm looking for any trades, now you can see here, now they don't go exactly the same time, but you can just see that they do go in very similar directions. Now I want to show you here as well. Yeah, you can see this. You can see the when there was big drops, and yeah, granted they're not actually going the exact same spot right now, but now you can see that the bonds was extremely bullish on Friday, while we were more bearish for the dollar. So if I was looking at the dollar, I would monitor the bonds yields and just see what it's doing, just see what price is doing on the 4 hour time frame. Are we making higher highs, higher lows? And that will just make you make a better decision for the dollar if you are trading it. So if you do like the information that I just gave there, please like and subscribe this video, geez. Just quick click, and yeah, I would really appreciate it. So for next week, I have my watch list that I went into. I have British pound, Canadian dollar, and I'm willing to trade it anywhere in this area and up to daily supply. I have Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Now, as long as this 4 hour supply doesn't get broken and we don't close above daily support and resistance, I will be looking for short opportunities. And British pound, Australian dollar, we still have a bit of work to do. Break up above previous week's highs, came back down, and that would be the best. But once we break the structure and this area right here, I will be looking for long setups. And Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, yes, I think something's very close to happening here as well, because yeah, price has come down back down, and yeah, if I see this demand getting taken out, I will be looking for a short opportunity. And I already told you about the dollar. Best of luck. Be careful if you are trading the dollar next week. And yeah, if I see open interest going lower, I will share some setups. But until then, I'm just sitting on the fence with the US dollar. So, okay, guys, enjoy your trading week next week, and best of luck to you.